Hi, everyone. Well, happy Tuesday evening in Ireland and wherever you are, whether it's morning, afternoon, or midday. I have to say, I am really excited and pumped up, having just come off a call with the marketing team for Europe and the chairman of Brian Yates. And I have to say, I'm really grateful that I am working with this company and that I, on a personal level, am using these products to ensure that I have the best chance of maintaining good health for years. So, ProArginine Plus is our flagship product, and that is the number one L-arginine product in the world. There is absolutely no disputing that fact. And I am exceedingly happy to be working with that product and sharing information with people about the product because I am very well aware of what ProRG9 on its own. Sorry, I think my Wi-Fi is dropping. As I was saying, I am well aware of what ProRG9 on its own is capable of doing for people's health. Um, I've spoken in the past about the High Desert Heart Institute clinical study, and the results of that were absolutely fantastic for the people who participated in that study because they had reached a point in their lives where they were at the end of the road in terms of what conventional medicine could offer them, and their only hope was a heart transplant. And Dr. Ariva Arunaslam, I may have that name incorrect, but he asked those people, would they give him 9 with just food supplement? And that food supplement was ProArginine Plus. And they did indeed give him that. And the results were, as I said, amazing. And I believe all of those patients came off the transplant waiting list. Now, that's actually worth mulling over for a short few seconds. Imagine that you are on a transplant waiting list and you give 90 days to something that is nothing except food. It's a food and it's a supplement, and that is enough and it's of such high quality that it actually got those people off of the transplant waiting list. That's phenomenal. And the beauty is that there are no side effects. What ProArginine does, it gets the body to produce nitric oxide, and nitric oxide very simply will melt the plaque in your cardiovascular system. So, and actually, Dr. Mike Saunders, who is head of innovation with Synergy Worldwide, he was on the call just very briefly tonight, and he said for himself, his own blood pressure changed as follows. It went from 150 over 95 to 117 over 78. Like that's a huge improvement. And that have a positive impact on his cardiovascular health, obviously, but also on his overall health. Because when blood pressure increases, and a lot of people suffer from high blood pressure, but that's an indication that there is a problem with the blood flow somewhere in the body. And obviously that needs to be addressed. And can address that by opening up the blood flow in the body. And it will find that part of the body that needs correction. And in fact, what happens is sometimes people have multiple problems. I don't know if the connection is, Wi-Fi seems to be unstable this evening. Sometimes people have multiple problems, and what happens then is that actually the body itself will prioritize what to focus on. And so, for example, we have my colleague Keith had an instance where somebody was suffering from migraines, and so they went on the V3 and after a couple of months, the migraines had gone. And then this lady came back a while later, and another issue had been actually, I think she had fibroid, and that was being addressed. So, of course, the body knows what needs attention, I guess, in proper order, and it will deal with them. But the important point, really, I feel, is that um, you know, don't be blasé about your health. And it doesn't matter what age you are. We are seeing people now in their 20s, having serious cardiac events and even death. So I really feel it's a very important thing for people to understand that you need to check that you're okay. None of us can take anything for granted anymore. I have mentioned in the past that I went to the Mater Private in Cork, where I had a scan, coronary artery calcium scan, and very non-invasive, safe procedure to have. But medical advice here, and if you feel you need medical advice, then of course I'm advising that you go to your healthcare practitioner. But there are obviously many ways in which you can evaluate your cardiac health. But the most important point is that you do not take it for granted that everything is fine. And I am going to talk about a guy from the UK. Um, in 2018, his name is Mark Felstead. I came across him when I was researching about the CAC scan myself. And actually, the reason I did that is because a friend suggested, well, Sinead, you're selling heart, so you should go and have a CAC scan. So I said, fair enough, because I'm all about being, and also I, I absolutely want to be evidence based. And I know that these products actually work. Lots of people, actually, a good friend of mine said to me the other day, Sinead, I'm fine for supplements. I'm taking about 50 supplements. And I'm going to say now, I didn't get a chance to say to them personally yet, but I will. Taking 50 supplements is kind of nuts. And question I would say is, how do you know that those supplements contain what they claim to contain? Because um, in Synergy Worldwide, they have tested products on the market that claimed, to have L-arginine, to have various um, ingredients in them. And in a huge amount of cases, they did not even contain those ingredients. To be sure that what you are taking is from a good source, because if it's not from a good source, number one, it's just not going to do what you need it to do. And so all of us, and I do mean that, need to be very careful about our heart health. And so Mark Felstead left home in August, and this guy is a triathlete. And so if you saw a picture of him, you'd say, wow, he is absolutely the picture of health. He totally slim looking, muscular. And really, we have been conditioned to believe that is the. So he left home in August 2018 to take part in a duathlon. So it was a two, there were two things in the event, and he collapsed. And so he clinically dead for 25 minutes. And he was exceedingly lucky that there were two doctors coming after him in the race, and they performed CPR on him for 25 minutes. Is a really, really important message to get out to people. We can see today there's um, a massive craze called High Rocks, which is absolutely fantastic, pretty well pushes you to your limits. And so if you're at risk of having cardiac accident, then you really do need to go and get yourself checked out. And maybe the first step in that might be to go to a chemist and get your blood pressure checked. It might be go to your GP and say, have a conversation around this and say, look, Mark Felstead would have felt that he was doing everything right. He was he was in late 50s, but like his diet was really good. He was training regularly, and still he had a massive heart attack, and he had no idea that he was at risk like that. And he was exceedingly lucky that the two doctors were able to perform CPR on him and save his life. So really, I am going to be focusing very much on heart health for the month of October. My colleague Keith has spent many years doing cardiovascular screening, and he is very experienced in that area. I'm also lining up a couple of interviews. There's a lovely young man who has an amazing story. He's only 23, so it's not a heart health story, but it is another illness, a serious illness that he had. And he's going to come on and share his story with you. I'm looking forward to that. So um, that's it, I think, for this evening. I suppose I'd like to finish off by saying I am so grateful to have discovered Synergy Worldwide. I am grateful that I have been taking these products for years and that I am really fit and strong and well able to do what it is I need to do every day. And there aren't too many companies out there that have those kind of credentials in this day and age. And they test Synergy Worldwide actually test their products to parts per trillion. Parts per trillion. So what that means is that they are looking for one drop in the equivalent of 21 Olympic sized pools. That's the extent that they go to their testing. And they test every load, we'll say. Whereas with some companies, number one, they outsource their production, whereas we don't do that. And they might test one round, and then they don't test, for maybe another year, maybe another 2 years. We have consistent testing, and the products are non-GMO, they're organic, they are of a very, very high standard. And if it's a thing, and they're tested obviously before they go into production, and if there is any trace of an impurity, something that triggers that system, then those products are returned to that farmer. So the um what's the word I'm looking for? The integrity is there with the Synergy Worldwide products. So I am going to leave it at that. And if you have any questions, any suggestions, please feel free to message me or comment, and I'd be delighted to hear from you. See you tomorrow.